boys and girls, and sports fans of all ages. Broadcasting live from the heart of the Duke City, it's time for a great afternoon of sports entertainment talk. Get ready for in-depth discussions on everything from the court to the field, mixed with the business and culture that orbit the sports world. Whether it's the latest blockbuster trend or the impact of sports. Your hosts, Fan Number and Fred Slow, with producer Isaiah Johnson on 95.9 FM at AM 610. The
Mike's hot.
Sports Animal.
Mike's hot.
It's Wednesday, Albuquerque. You know what that means? That means the boys are over at Rio Bravo Brewery. Yeah. We're hanging out. It's a meaty Wednesday over here. They got the brisket, man.
Ooh, the brisket today? We're usually here on a Taco Tuesday, but we had our fantasy spectacular yesterday at Howie's Sports Page to kick off the football season.
I've never used the word fantasy to describe being at Howie's.
Now, hold on.
We're getting a little feedback from Isaiah Johnson.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't you describe Howie's that way? Spectacular?
I'm going to have to take a phone call, man.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we did our drafts at Howie's Sports Page yesterday, and both the industry.
Hey, just reconnect on the clean feed. The computer internet went down for a second. I had to refresh it. So we got commercials going. But as soon as you reconnect, we'll be fine after that.
I like our chances in both leagues. Thanks for the friends of the show showing up and hanging out and having a lot of fun with us.
On the computer, yeah. It's good. They just got to reconnect on the clean feed. I just had to refresh the page.
Curling Boys present Fill in the Hole. Albuquerque's newest and, well, only talk show is on 95.9 FM and AM 610.
Okay. So I'm going to do, are you on Van's profile? Van's, I'm going to send a email to him again. And it usually works pretty fast after that. Just sent it. Okay, and it's to Van's email.
Sports Animal. Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that looks just the same, but is 95% cheaper, and you can get it online? Go to hims.com/jerk. You'll get a free medical consultation, the free shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start with free online.
Yeah, that was completely on this computer then. Okay, there you go. All right, I'm about to bring you guys on right after this commercial.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors.
Good job figuring that out.
Honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds.
You want to hit the intro again or no need?
I'm serious. Listen to mine.
Yeah, you guys are all good. That was on this end.
For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Which we'll figure out
a static link.
Mike's hot.
Welcome back to Him and On live from Rio Bravo Brewery. Sorry for the tech diffs. Isaiah put his elbow on the reset button.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, you got pointy elbows.
I do, and they're, yeah.
A little ashy right now, too. They're a little ashy. Is that what it is? You had a little itch on it? Is that what it was?
I would never know. I can't see my elbows.
I just saw my camera. I think they look fine. You can join us at Rio Bravo Brewery. You can join us on the live stream, facebook.com/TalkABQ. We're here at Rio Bravo where it's a meaty Wednesday, as we were talking about. They got the brisket, man. They got the pulled pork tonight. Also, you can get some sort of deep fried alligator. I'm not joking.
Deep fried gator?
It's like a gator tail thing.
Gator tail.
Gator tails.
Okay. I haven't had me some good old gators since I was growing up in the South.
The only gator I've ever had in my life was a kid who was from the South, but we all called gator.
Oh, yeah? You knew a gator, too?
Oh, you had a gator?
You had multiple gators.
Yeah. He was like a transplant. And we just called him Gator. And I don't remember how that started. I remember thinking my nickname, Fred, wasn't as cool
as Gator.
Yeah.
That's a hard standard mayor there.
Handful of really good nicknames. Gator is one. Ace. You ever know anyone named Ace?
I don't think I knew an Ace.
Ace is like a tough one.
Yeah, Ace is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a cool name.
Ace Freely?
I don't know, like most universally, except like this is obviously an I-9 varsity if we were to do it.
Okay.
But like,
Let's just knock it out right now.
Today's
Jump right into it.
Today's
Let's go.
I-9 varsity
Let's just go.
because of the weird start to the show.
Okay.
The I-9 varsity of baddest nicknames.
We'll get right into our NFL preview
right after
this impromptu first segment I-9 varsity,
which now is
done in 4 years.
Yeah, now it's off the top for sure. Proof.
Yep, League Office 280 at i9sports.com, 505-312-4999. Reach out to I9 Sports. Get registered for all these upcoming events, including flag football, soccer, baseball, and cheerleading. The 9-year-old of my life, she starts this weekend, and she is super excited about that. Man. And I'm excited to be there and say, let's go. Let's do it. All right, so classic nicknames, is that what we went with?
Yeah, you can do that.
That is classic. Yep.
All right.
The best one.
All right, so I think I got a strong one here. Are you ready?
Okay.
Charlie.
Instead of calling them Charles or Charleston or whatever their name is, you just...
Or Charlotte.
Charlie.
Charlie can go... It's for boys and girls.
We could just keep shorting it. It could be Char.
Yeah.
It could be Lee. It could be Cha.
So I'm going with Charlie.
Cha.
Yeah, that's a good one to me.
That's a good one.
Yep, man.
I grew up with a kid who was real short. Like, he was younger. He was like he was under 5 foot tall, and he wanted to be a cholo. So instead of calling him essay, we called him paragraph because he was too short to be an essay. That's a good one. His name was Paragraph. We called him Paragraph. Very good. Paragraph.
Yeah, I don't hate that one at all.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go Zeke. I think Zeke's a pretty cool nickname. Some people have tried to give me that one, but it's way too much of a reach in my opinion.
Isaiah, Zay, Zeke, way too far in my estimate, but you never know. I think it's a pretty cool one. Ezekiel, Zay, Zeke.
Ezekiel's a cool name.
Mm-hmm. And I think
What's
Zeke
your name? What is your name?
I think I got one.
Okay, you got one?
I think I got a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Corky.
All right. Short for corkboard.
I think, like, traditionally for a gal, it's short for Courtney.
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
And I think for a fella, just the dude is kind of weird. Like, it's just a Corky.
Okay.
Not one?
Next on my I-9 varsity of nicknames, I grew up with this guy who was really tall.
Mm-hmm.
He was a tall brother, but he was a ginger brother, like Blake Griffin. And he was very, black all the way through, and then red on the top. We called him Duracell.
It's a pretty good one.
He looked like the battery.
That's
Fred. He looked like the Duracell battery.
Isaiah?
That's what we called him.
I'm gonna go with Jay.
No,
Jay.
Jay's weak.
Okay.
Just the letter. But if the person is in sports terms, it's a very, very cool name.
Yeah, but
for a guy, you make it individualized.
Yeah, but it's not Crusher.
Is that your next one, Crusher?
Well, I mean, that's a good one. Like
Crusher. Yeah.
There's a guy in the NFL named Cheetah. Like, that's kind of a cool nickname.
Oh, he's very fast. He's very fast.
Like, those types of names are like any name with a big in front of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're doing like cliched sports terms now. You went from unassuming nicknames to how about you just put an O on the end of your name? Ain't that right, Fredo?
It's a good one.
They used to call me Big J, and I wrestled in middle school.
There you go.
Big J.
Combine yours with mine.
The super weak one is when you just put a C at the end of it. Vanzy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like the
O or Y at the end of your name that you've always had.
Yeah, Fredsy.
It's lazy.
It's lazy.
Yeah.
It's lazy.
Oh, yeah, go by my last name. Nunley E. Nunley squared.
Growing up, Isaiah stuck.
Isaiah?
Way too hard. Isaiah.
Okay.
Just like that.
Are you about to say
It
Matt?
stuck way too hard.
You got another good one?
Of course I do.
Okay, I'm ready.
I grew up with the guy, Fred,
Uh-huh.
next on my I-9
Yeah.
varsity nicknames.
Yeah, more guys you grew up with.
I grew up
Yeah.
with this guy, Fred.
Uh-huh.
He was half Mexican and half German.
Oh.
Yeah. Called him Beaner Schnitzel.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah. Beaner Schnitzels,
That's what you're going with?
That's what we called him. Yeah. Because of his
Yep.
nationality. That was a late bloomer for Zay.
Zay
That
loves
was a
it.
late bloomer. Yeah. I like that one.
What do you got over there, Isaiah? Gunner? You gonna go Gunner?
No, it'd be gun.
Oh.
Okay, or gun if I was going to do that. But I'm going to go with AR-15. Austin Reeves has the coolest nickname in the NBA. He's number 15, and his name, we call him Austin Reeves.
Uh-huh.
AR-15, and he's definitely a great shooter, in my opinion.
Well, with after the news of today, I don't know if I would have gone there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, pick a day in this country.
yeah.
Kind of
I
any day.
haven't heard the news.
That's how wild that school shootings have become that Isaiah didn't hear the news today.
Yeah.
No way.
Like,
Another one.
That's low key how like stepping away from the jokes for a second.
It doesn't even pop up on your notifications anymore.
No.
That's how often it happens.
Like
Yeah.
four.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. You know, and that's like, I don't know. I mean, not to be this guy right now, but it's to a point. And what have we been back in school for? A week, 2 weeks, or whatever. 4 dead, over a dozen injured at this point. You're at a point now, if you Google school shooting, like if you Google Georgia school shooting, this happened at Appalachia High School, you have to put the word now behind it. You have to put the word newest.
Filter for today.
You have to put the word today.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. It is wild how out of control this is. Like, and we're not going to do that show today. We should. We should always, if we every single day pause the jokes and the sports talk to talk about this, every single day we would not do sports or sports talk jokes. We would do, it is important to vote for people who are trying to help this.
Sure.
Go call Marjorie Taylor Greene right now. She runs Georgia. Tell her what's going on. Like, it is wild to me.
Thoughts and prayers aren't doing it anymore, guys.
No.
And what's nuts is it says this was the first deadly K-12 shooting in the state since '99. So it's like gradually getting worse and worse.
I don't know if anything is gradual about it.
As far as Georgia's concerned,
There have been
like now the issues have leaked into Georgia. I'm surprised I would never have guessed it's been that long. Since
well,
Georgia happened.
just to be clear, the stat I have in front of me says there have been about 70 shootings at K-12 schools in Georgia between the early 1970s and June of 2022.
Okay, so that I'm sure all of those were before '99 because this says since '99. This is a Washington Post.
Well, that's the only one that's been fatal. I think that's the
Yes,
qualifier.
deadly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just crazy, man. Yeah, but that's where we're currently at. You know, like all the time. Wow.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll do our NFL preview. It's 2 Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Yep.
eBay Motors is here for the
Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On, where we're doing our NFL preview and picks. We do this every year.
Correct.
Last year, I had the Super Bowl correct.
Chiefs over Niners. Or just the winner?
No, I didn't have it right last year. I had it right 2 years ago with Chiefs and Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, last year I didn't have it right because I had Chiefs and Eagles again, and they didn't get it. Your preview last year, Van, you had the Cowboys and who else?
The Ravens.
The Ravens.
I had Ravens over Cowboys last year.
Okay, so I right now am a little bit more reliable than you,
Mhm.
and then this is Isaiah's first NFL preview with
I'm
us.
really excited for him.
Mine's going to be perfect.
Zay, do you want to go through the motions, or are you just going to pick the Cowboys right now?
Oh, no.
You want to do the whole thing? You want to just say Cowboys and then take the rest of the day off? What do you want
do the whole
Okay,
spiel.
good.
So we'll go through division.
Okay, I like this.
And then after we go through division, we'll set up our playoff whatevers. And then after we set up our playoff whatevers, we'll give you our Super Bowls. And also, the way we do it every single year, we'll do our big, bold predictions as well. I like to do one for every team. You want to stick with that same formula?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
So, AFC East seems like a good starting point.
I like that one.
All right. I will say I think the AFC East is the best division in football.
Ooh, over the AFC North?
Over the AFC North.
Okay.
I think Miami, New Jersey, New York, and New England are all pretty good.
Yes. Yes.
And when I say pretty good, I mean I only see them losing games to each other. Like as they play outside their division, I think they're all going to come out relatively unscathed. I got Miami at top. I got the Jets sitting second. I got the Bills sitting third, and I got the Patriots coming in last. What do you think, man?
Well, I mean, it's not compelling radio because that's exactly how I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Miami winning the division, all based on Tua's health. If Tua plays a whole season, I think Miami wins the AFC East. And I have both the Jets and the Bills getting wild card spots. And then
kind of early for that, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, we could all catch up on that later. But AFC East is going to be very strong. AFC North, I think, is the best in football. But AFC East is fantastic, and they're getting two people in.
I'm giving you a bold prediction here. I don't think the Bills make the playoffs.
Yo,
They're going to be outside looking in. I'm in the camp of Josh Allen is overrated.
Yeah.
I put him in the exact same camp as Justin Herbert. I think it's cool that the league has been designed for dudes with their skill sets to be successful. They're not dudes that win games when it comes time to win games. They're not big slingers out there. I'm not into their style of winning because they don't have it. Also, and I'm not trying to be this guy that says every head case has a point, but Stephon Diggs looked at him and said, I ain't going to win here.
Yeah.
Like, Buffalo didn't ask Stephon to leave. He asked to leave.
I think it's just the opposite of that. Everywhere Stephon Diggs has gone, he's been a locker room cancer. So I think the Bills, this is addition by subtraction.
Strong possibility. Isaiah, who do you got in the East?
In the AFC East, I'm going to go Miami's going to win. The Jets will be second, and then I got Bills third, Patriots fourth. But I think it's a wild take to think the Patriots will be any good outside of the division. I don't think they're – I mean, I do know you believe in Drake May, so maybe that's why you have stock in the Patriots. But other than him being very good, I don't see how they could be.
I have more faith in Jacoby Brissett than I do Drake May. I think Drake May is going to be the bust of all the quarterback drafts, and I think the Patriots will be one of the worst teams in football.
You think he's a Trubisky?
Yes.
Drake May?
Trubisky won a playoff game.
Even if
Trubisky had a couple 10-win seasons, Drake May will be out of the league in 3 years.
Well, I think Mitchell Trubisky sucked, but Mitch Trubisky was okay. And
sure,
Miami is the one who's going to spoil Buffalo out of it. Like, even if Miami doesn't win that majority of games outside the division, like you guys are saying, they're going to beat the other teams in the division. I mean, New England. I'm sorry. New England's going to beat the other teams in the division. Also, and this is a little whatever, it's completely removed from Bill Belichick at this point.
Correct.
Like when Gerard Mayo the other day was like, you know what we're doing? We're putting C's back on jerseys. Like we are that thing now. Like no more weird, the cult of Belichick. Like we're going to let a lot of these professional athletes be professional athletes and win games. I'm in. I'm 100% subscribed. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're going to spoil Buffalo's chance to make the playoffs.
You know, division rivalries are always insane. They'll steal 1 or 2 games, but I don't see the Patriots winning more than 5 games this year. And 5 is being generous to how awful I think they are.
I think they're in that category. I do think Miami's going to take an L in Buffalo on November 3rd, though. But I don't think that will matter as far as who wins the division. But I think that's going to be a tough one for them to win.
I think Miami is going to lead the NFL in takeaways. I think Miami is going to have one of the top-tier defenses, and I think that's because they're going to be up so tremendously with their offensive production that teams are going to really have to force it down the field and play into the hands. What's that cat's name? Javon Holland? Is that the cat that's back there at safety? Like that dude might end up being in conversations at the end of the year as because he's not a big hitter, but is a takeaway guy. Like I think Miami is that thing in the AFC East.
How you feel about the Dolphins defense is how I feel about the Jets defense. I think the Jets defense and the Jets ground game, I have the Jets doing better. We'll get to this later, but because of they're built for defense, they're built on running the ball, I have the Jets doing better in the playoffs.
In a real intimate moment, you whispered into my ear that you thought Sauce Gardner was going to be the offensive MVP of the league.
Offensive?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Defensive MVP of the league.
Yeah, Sauce is that dude. But he's not going to get a lot of interceptions. People just aren't going to throw at him at all. He's going to immediately take away half the field for the Jets. The Jets defense will probably be the best in the league.
Sauce is good against everyone besides CD. CD cooked him. But other than that, I haven't seen him really have any struggle.
CD pretty good.
If you were to give one big moment to Buffalo, if you were to say, hey, here's the one big thing about Buffalo, if they make the playoffs, Josh Allen is also the league MVP that year. Like, he has to play that good for Buffalo to make the playoffs.
I have him making the playoffs. I think they're just too talented. He's too talented not to win 10 games and get a wild card spot. But, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen, it's the reason he's the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. He's a stat stuffer. Wins or losses notwithstanding, his stat sheet is going to look fantastic no matter what.
If you're a young football fan or if you're Madden enthusiast, I'm telling you, there's something really fun about watching because you don't get this combination of the Polk kid, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, and Drake May are all rookies. And you're going to see these 3 guys. And I think those 2 guys could be closer to 2,000 yards total. You know, maybe 1,500 on the low end, you know. But you're going to see a bunch of young guys come up in New England's system, and you're going to watch them play really well. So I think the AFC East is going to be enticing. I think it's going to be exciting. And I think 2 of those teams are going to go on to the playoffs, and they're going to be a big deal.
2 of those teams?
Nice. That was a good one. Isaiah, final words on the AFC East?
Yeah, I think we all agree the Dolphins will win it, but I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl or anything, but they'll dominate that division just off pure talent.
Oh,
okay.
It's going to be
I like it.
It's going to be a pure talent thing is what he says. I think the New Jersey Jets definitely will not go to the Super Bowl. Like 100% will not.
I have them doing well.
The AFC North is a different story, though, Van. You think it's the prime one. We'll get into the reasons that you think that whenever we get back. I'm not going to disagree with you completely, but I bet our orders are different.
Okay.
Like, I know how far and heavily you lean into, oh, my God, a bunch of new talent. They're going to be that. I think it takes longer to gel.
Okay.
And I don't think Baltimore is going to finish where you think Baltimore is going to finish.
Okay. I want to hear all about it.
It's 2 Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610, live from Rio Bravo Brewery, the sports animal. Welcome back to Rio Bravo Brewery, where I'm battling a head cold, and I'm about to battle Van over the Baltimore Ravens. We're live at Rio Bravo Brewery. We're having a banger of one today, doing our NFL preview. Often less jokes on these fun ones, but we'll sneak them in every so often. So if you're here for football analysis, we got it. If you're here for laughs, come to Rio Bravo in person and catch us during the commercials.
Commercial break's going to be a little funnier today.
Yeah.
We're talking football all day today.
Which you're not allowed to say that football is fun because it's so serious to everyone all the time.
Bleep that. If I'm not having fun, I'm not participating.
I think my new commercial is running right now for it, and if it's not, it will be tomorrow. But Prize Picks, also promo code KNML. So if you use promo code KNML, you get matched up to $100 on your initial deposit, and then you're playing Prize Picks with us.
What a deal.
Do it. They're doing, for the first 4 weeks of the season, Caleb Williams 0.5 yards every game.
Okay.
You get one.
It's a freebie, baby.
Basically, right? Like, all you have to do is like have a lot of confidence in one other thing, and you have a chance to win every weekend. And even if you can only play it the one time, right? Like that's how it works. But you do that one, you kind of hedge yourself for whatever else you're trying to do. Get fun, get creative, get weird. It's a cool thing right now. So football is in the thing. Anyways, the reason I bring up Prize Picks, it's to the point now where it's all about, like, it's so serious. It's about the money.
Mm-hmm.
There's no laughing about it. You have to come up with all the money to pay for all the streaming services.
Yeah, use Prize Picks.
Like,
have a couple good weeks on Prize Picks, and then get the subscription to the CW to watch Saturday football in December.
There are games this year on ABC, NBC, ESPN, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Nickelodeon. I'm missing some. YouTube.
Peacock. Yeah.
That's 8 different things I just named. I know I'm missing some.
Sure. There's more.
Fox.
Fox. All the big
CBS.
networks.
That's 10 different channels. I just named 10 different channels.
And then all of their affiliates. So add a couple more.
Yeah. That's so many. Does HBO have games?
Probably.
I mean, probably, right?
Hard Knocks in season. That's close enough.
Fubo.
There you go.
I don't know that one.
The orange app.
Oh, the one that came in.
Whatever the orange app is.
I made about 10 emails for that one. I'm still running nice and strong off the free trials.
I don't even know what Fubo is.
You just keep changing. You just change your email every time, Zay? Is that what you do?
Yeah, they
new
don't
email,
they don't
new subscription.
Yeah, they don't do any deep diving.
Good for them.
New email, boom, give you a free week.
Yeah. There's so many Isaiah Johnsons in this zip code with different emails. This is crazy.
To me, it's easier to make the amount of money that it costs per month to pay than it is to go through the hassle of creating new emails. I know that sounds simplistic.
Sure.
But I'd rather go out and sell one more advertising package than put the effort into building new emails so regularly.
I mean, how many do we have in our co-op? Like, do we even have them all? Can we watch all the football?
We have access to all 10 of the things that I just said.
Good. Because I might be watching some games this year.
Because we're in a co-op.
I'm not using Isaiah's website. I'm actually gonna. For real. Yeah.
And hey, because I'm so spoiled on it. Like, I have the biggest TV you've ever seen in person.
It's nice.
It's a nice TV.
Yeah, it's nice TV.
I have the brand newest Apple TV streamy. What's better than 4K deal? I have the bandwidth deal. If I don't get my image in the top tier, like quality, I lose my stuff.
Oh yeah, you're throwing your controller through the TV.
I have zero interest in tolerating any of that
sure
that you get from not the official whatever.
Yeah, my 60-inch or whatever television used to be the television of kings like 10 years ago. Now I think I paid $240 for a TV that I had to bring it in through the back door.
Correct.
Because it was too big to go through the front. Everybody gets one there.
I'm still I think I've graduated from the gaming stage, but mine I figured
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll still hop on every now and then, but I feel like I'm wasting my life away. I get anxious. I'll stop playing. But real emotions that happen there.
Been there, brother. No, we know. We're aware.
middle of the game, I'm like, all right, I'm done. But no, I have a 50-inch, and it's like the perfect size for gaming. When you get a TV too big, and you play something like Madden or the Call of Duty, you find yourself actually turning your head, which for movements, that should just be a simple turn of the eye.
How close are you sitting in this scenario?
Great question. But I like to sit pretty close, but maybe that's where the issue comes from.
Are you sitting like Indian style in the middle of the room,
yeah,
like you did when you were a child? Yeah.
No, I sit at the edge of the bed.
Isaiah likes to sit so close and we both know Isaiah pretty well. Like 90% of his day, his neck is just tilted over because he's looking at his cell phone.
Sure.
So he likes to sit real close and tilt his neck back
Balance.
to watch the TV to equal it out.
Yes, the yin and yang of technological addiction.
Super smart. We're on to the AFC North. The Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Steelers, and I don't have them in that order, boys. Bengals are going to come out on top in this one. So the Bengals are going to be sitting in the 1. The Ravens are going to be sitting in the 2. The Steelers in the 3. And I don't believe the Browns will win a game all season.
Oh, man. In my heart of hearts, that's what I want. There's no person I root against harder than Deshaun Watson in the NFL. But I think both Cleveland and Pittsburgh will flirt with 500. Mike Tomlin's never had a sub-500 season. He'll do what he can to be 9-8. He will scratch and claw. I have Pittsburgh 9-8, Cleveland 8-9. And Cleveland's got a talented roster, but I'll tell you why they're going to underperform.
Okay.
Is because I think the overwhelming majority of NFL players are people of high moral fiber. I think they are good people. And the defenses across the league will turn it up to 11 on Deshaun Watson.
I believe that's
They're
correct.
going after him so hard.
Yeah.
They don't want him to succeed. They will try harder against the Browns than they will any other team just to embarrass Deshaun Watson.
It's crazy how many defensive players that Deshaun Watson will play against who have mothers and daughters and sisters and wives.
Almost 100% of them.
Crazy?
Yeah, almost 100% of them.
That's so nuts.
Yeah.
Isaiah?
I think this is easily going to be the Ravens first, Bengals second, Browns third, Steelers fourth. The Browns, I get I get how we feel about Deshaun Watson. I'm right on board. But unfortunately for us, they have Myles Garrett on defense, and he alone can win some games and completely wreck another team's game plan. So if a team doesn't have a solid offensive tackle, their whole game plan of an offense is going to shift, which then will help out Deshaun Watson on the offensive end. I think
you can scheme away from him.
Yeah.
I think
you gotta double him and then have your running back chip him on the way in.
I don't think the division will struggle with him. I think he will have successes in whatever they're playing a one-off against fill in the blank. But yeah, they're not good. They got bad coaching. They got terrible ownership. Like
the uniforms are the worst of the worst.
Add that to the
easily
mix.
the worst uniforms.
I think their best offensive player legitimately is their tight end.
Agree. Sure.
I think that's not good.
Sure. Yeah.
Cooper's still there. I mean, maybe him.
It's a maybe. It's a hard maybe.
Yeah, it depends.
Well, I have in the North, I have the Ravens running away with it. Not only the Ravens running away with the North, but also AFC. I got the Ravens being the number 1 seed in the AFC this year and getting a bye.
So you and I are very different here because
I do have Cincinnati doing very well and making the playoffs.
So my big bold, if I'm giving you one here, is the Bengals will have the best record in the NFL.
Dang.
I'm telling you right now,
Okay.
Joe Burrow coming off missing like missing last season. Their 2023 is a little disappointing. It is a world of recognition that he's about to receive for his skill sets. Their wide receivers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
If they lose 3 games, I'll be surprised. I think they are. What's that, brother?
His haircut
and the haircut.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, he's looking like Cody Rhodes. Like all these things.
The Blonde Ambition Tour.
They're all working in his favor. So give me the Cincinnati Bengals best record in the NFL.
Okay.
What I will add about Joe Burrow is he definitely has that the thing a lot of greats have, like Tom, MJ. They take things personal and they remember things. And he definitely did not like the way the team did when he went down. He didn't like going down. I remember a specific post he put up on social media.
Of course.
The day after, yes, of course. The day after he got hurt, he was basically like, "Don't worry, I'll be back." And I think he's had a really good offseason. I think he's going to have a very good year. But I don't know about 3 losses.
All of the success that Cincinnati will have, and I believe it's all going to be in the air. Like, that's how I see that team. Baltimore will have very similar success, but all be on the ground. Like, look for that team as a whole to possibly have 3,000-yard rushers. Like, it is, that to me looks like a team with the quarterback and Derrick Henry. And maybe it's not 3, but maybe it's a sprinkle of whoever else equals 1,000.
Sure.
But that's a team that easily 2,500 on the ground. I think realistically 3,000 and a little bit of a stretch, 33, 34.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, agree completely. I think Lamar Jackson will take a step forward passing the ball too, because now he has Derrick Henry. He's just had a trio of injured running backs the past few years. Now he has Derrick F. Henry on his team now to take the pressure off of what he has to do, and that's going to open up the offense. And he's been getting progressively better passing every year. Not a lot. Never took a big leap, but just progressively better, and that'll continue this year for Lamar Jackson.
I'd expect him to slide more too, which hopefully would lead him to be more healthy. I must say, this is we're on the football topic. 2 men on being so serious about football. It's like Travis Hunter in college football. It's like, wow, they can do both things at a high level. We never hit football this series. It's like well,
we do it once a year.
Yeah, we do it once a year. We're doing it today.
Today's the day, my friend.
Yeah. You know what? You know what? Other day we preview WrestleMania is right before WrestleMania.
Sure.
Like, this is the attention it deserves. We already went over our big prediction for Cleveland. We both believe that headhunting is real.
Yeah.
And we believe Deshaun Watson will get it, and more than likely early. I don't want to necessarily say a team or a player, but I will say this: there are going to be a lot of people trying.
Yes.
And then I'll say this one, which I think is fun. Pittsburgh's big one is TJ Watt. He only needs 18 sacks to tie his brother.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen this year. TJ Watt's going to get the 18 he needs, and he's going to tie JJ Watt in sacks. And I think that is a big deal because it's incredibly difficult to get 18 sacks, but the motivation to do it is right there.
Yeah, he's an absolute freak. He is a beast. And if he stays healthy, I do see him getting that. And I do see him lapping his brother.
He's only 3.5 away from a hundo. So, I mean, it makes it seem even more realistic.
He's going to get 22. He's in the 20s.
Woo, baby.
Pretty consistent nowadays. He'll be in the 20s. He's going to go for the record.
He had 22.5 last year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Sounds right. The year before, then it couldn't have been any less than 19.
He had 19 the year before. So, I mean, he's got the numbers. He's going to he's gonna tie it and surpass his brother. So that's my big one there.
Does Russell Wilson stay the starter for the Steelers all year?
Yeah, 100%.
No.
I say no. I say he underperforms. I think he's a shell of himself. I think Pete Carroll and the Seahawks running game and defense helped him out a ton to make him look good at his stint in Seattle. He's going to get exposed again, just like he did on the Broncos. And Justin Fields, I think he'll take over before we get halfway through the season.
Yes, I agree with that, but I do think he was a different guy in Seattle. I mean, he did some miraculous things in Seattle I don't think he could do anymore. But what I wonder is, will they let it get as bad as it got in Denver, whereas you saw defenders actually having to be held back from him right after he was throwing interceptions? And I don't think Mike Tomlin will let it get that bad. So I want to see how quickly they'll pull the trigger, or if they'll let him sit in there like a baseball pitcher who's just suffering.
Mike Tomlin needs to be real careful with how he approaches players on other teams. Mike Tomlin, I don't think, has it the way that he thought he had it several years ago. I think he has become old man yelling on. Isaiah, did you grow up with a block dad?
No, my father was white.
No, okay, well, all right. Okay.
Yes, my father was African American.
No, not black.
Block dad. The block dad.
Did you have like a block dad in your neighborhood?
I thought you said black dad.
No,
that's so funny.
That is kind of funny.
Like, no, he's Caucasian.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have a. that didn't have a block.
Okay, so we had a block dad in my neighborhood, and that's what Mike Tomlin seems like to me. The guy that's willing to yell at cars passing by, the kids playing astray, that he is just unnecessary to people, to his kids that aren't his own. And I think we're at a day and age where when I was so young, I don't yell back at the block dad. I think today it happens. I think these players today don't care about Mike Tomlin. They know they're not going to be in the league longer than 2 years, and they're not going to pretend like they do.
There's always a place for that in the NFL, though. If it's not the head coach, there's going to be a handful of guys on the sideline who are that coach.
Yeah,
it's on every team in the NFL. It's part of the culture. Like while it's going away, like X and O's matter more. Front office stuff matters more. There's always that guy on the football team.
And that's a true statement. Now, where the importance comes in is the only way for him to keep that is he has to connect with his team captains, and he has to basically get it through their head that if they respect him in a certain way, the culture around the team will be the expectation to treat him that way. But if there's like guys that are the best player on the team, like Antonio Brown's got a lot to do with this, because you have somebody who's the best player on the team, and you view him as a coach's favorite, and then when that guy starts crashing out and he doesn't get disciplined the way everyone thought he would, everyone's like, well, hold on, maybe he's not the super tough guy. This guy got away with it. And then more people start doing things that disrespect the coach, and then it becomes a bad issue.
Yeah, but I think you're all talking internally to the team. Like, I think I'm talking like,
yes.
Like, yeah, I'm talking like outward facing. Like Mike Tomlin tried to trip a guy a couple years ago. Like that's the stuff.
Prime.
What's that, brother?
That was in his prime.
And that's what I'm saying. He's not in his prime anymore. Like he doesn't hold revere the way that he once did. And there's only been like 4 coaches in the history of Pittsburgh, but it's starting to feel a little Bill Cowrie, where like he was at the top and he had everyone else in the league, made sure they took the time before the game to run over there and shake his hand and this and that. It's not there anymore for Mike Tomlin. Also, his press conferences, let me rephrase this. When speaking publicly or to the media, he's old hat. He's old material. Like he's not the new innovative voice that won the job in Pittsburgh after being a lowly linebackers coach in Tampa Bay, and that story of up and up and an up.
Yeah.
They don't win. They don't.
Well, John Gruden.
Same. Yeah. Well, he was down there at the time. So, I mean, that's that. I just think his day's gone by. That's how I feel, Mike. If you're going to lose a coach this year, you lose Mike Tomlin from the Pittsburgh Steelers when they have a poor season.
I mean, I do appreciate that about a head coach, though. But there's only so many Mike Tomlins. There's only so many Dan Campbells. There's only so many rah-rah guys out there now. And I've said this ad nauseum on this program, that the head coach doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
Sure.
The coordinators matter. The position coaches matter. The head coach is a figurehead. I look at him like I look at the president. But the president doesn't matter that much. The cabinet, very important. I think that's way more important. So I think your coordinators and your coaches matter more than who your head coach is.
Man, I think you're talking about in a vacuum, though. Because, like, I'm going to say this. If you bring in, like, who's like John Gruden, like Isaiah just mentioned. You put John Gruden on a team, you're screwing that team.
Sure.
Nobody wants to mess with that dude.
His days are gone.
Yeah. Like, if you put, and I don't know who the other example would be, but if you put Bill Belichick on a team, like, immediately you're going to get a different level of, well, I'm assuming you're going to get a level of respect because that's what we only had ever seen from him. But maybe not. Maybe these young bloods will be like, old hat, this, that. I don't think so. I think he's so stoic in the thing.
I think a team like Dallas could really use a Mike Tomlin, right? Or if you just look at how they've been the past 5 years, I think he's somebody that could have put them over the top, because I think what he's good for is, number one, is like discipline. So he has very disciplined teams. They're usually not very highly penalized. And you got a team like Dallas who's they're penalized, and a lot of times you wonder if football is their main priority. So with them, with Mike Tomlin, I think you have more of like you guys are kind of basically referring to, like more of like a smash mouth mentality as his whole personality. And I think that if a team is like soft or needs strengthening in the discipline area, or they have a lot of penalties, he's good for that. And I think he's good to get a team like the Cowboys mindset off the social media and the fans watching, and he's kind of somebody that I would say here focused on the game. But other than that, I don't think he's needed that much.
Well, if every coach in the NFL is not doing that, they need to start ASAP.
Exactly.
Because everybody should be doing that right now.
So why is Mike McCarthy here?
Steelers were 10-7 last year. All right, got that there. And then, all right, so in 2022, 9-8. That was third in the AFC North. No playoffs, obviously. 2021, 9-7. They were second in the AFC North. Didn't do anything. They lost in the wild card. 2020, they lost in the wild card. 19-18, they missed the playoffs. 2017, advanced to divisionals, and they lost there because they were first. I mean, they won the Super Bowl in 08. I mean, it's been a long, long time.
It's been a long time since the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
Ben, Bell, and Brown, like that's a trio that doesn't get replicated very often.
As a Cowboy fan, I would love Mike Tomlin in Dallas. Just let me keep the roster, put Tomlin on the sideline. I won't worry about what version of my team I'm going to get. I'll at least know what our goal is going into the game.
9-8. That's your goal.
9-8. They're going to be 9-8 again.
It's 2 men on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Welcome back to the program, Duke City. Welcome back to Two Men On. Welcome back to 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Fred Slow stepped away for a second to coat his throat.
I had to get some sore throat spray.
Okay.
Normally when I get oral relief, it is not this type. So this is a
okay.
chloroseptic is what this is.
Yeah, strong stuff.
Ugh.
I see you went with the Walgreens brand, Smart.
And frugal.
Yeah. It's the same stuff.
Well, no. As what? CVS? What are you trying to say to me?
You didn't go with like the upscale, top shelf. Maybe our friends at
Robitussin?
Vicks. Yeah, the Robo spray.
So my credit card gives me double points at Walgreens and Walmart.
That's neat.
Yeah. So
all the walls.
Yeah, all of them. So then, because I'm a big Tim Walls guy, so I went and got that card. And so anyways, it's something like ridiculously low. It's like $100. I don't know what it is, but it's like $100, and then I saved $10. So when I'm going to check out at the Walgreens, it's like, do you want to apply your wall points or whatever? And I'm like, yes, I do. Click. Thank you.
From the kiosk window
to the walls.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We continue our NFL breakdown. We're under the AFC South. We're having a lot of fun today at Rio Bravo Brewery. Come hang out with us on a Wednesday. This is the worst division in football.
There's going to be a lot of parity here.
This is Trevor Lawrence's division for the taking. Will the Houston Texans relieve it to him? And I don't think the Colts or the Titans are going to be anywhere close to 500. I think I have what you would call my second upset in divisions because I don't think I think as highly Cincinnati as you don't. Give me the Jaguars winning this bad boy. Give me the Texans sitting second.
I got the exact same thing.
Ooh.
So
okay.
I think the Texans are going to come back down to earth this year. CJ Stroud is a dude, but I think there are a lot of favorable wins, a couple eked out wins that are going to be losses this year. They do get to beat up on the Colts and Titans all year, so that's nice for them. Congratulations. But I do have Trevor Lawrence and his revamped offense. He's got more toys to play with this year.
He doesn't have more in Houston.
If he doesn't step up this year, he never will. This is Trevor Lawrence's year to step up. I have him taking a step forward, and I have the Jags winning the South. Not only do the Texans not win the South, they missed the playoffs by a game.
It's so funny you're saying this because I have the exact same thing, and normally we fight about this kind of stuff. I will say the Bears have the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL. That's my opinion. I will say the Houston Texans have the second.
They're strong. Very strong.
I would say Diggs and Collins and Dell are all contributors, and recognizing one of them's the number one now, I think the other two could be number ones elsewhere.
Agree.
I think there's a ton of talent, and I think it is 1 year too soon for this team. I think CJ Stroud now is a year of tape on him and a whole bunch of guys, not just within the division, but around the NFL that paid attention to him all offseason long, and they will figure out how to beat him. And he will not be that producer that he was at the phenom he was last season. So, yeah, give me Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston finishing second. And I'm with you, Van, there on the outside looking in. Where are you at, Isaiah?
I'm shocked, honestly. I'm completely shocked. I think the Texans are for sure the division winners here. I have put a lot of stock into the CJ Stroud hype train. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers now. At a certain point through November, he went for 300 versus the Jaguars. They did lose that game now by 3 points, but he threw for 300 against Jacksonville, then 300 the next week against Arizona, 356 versus Cincy, 470 versus Tampa. And there were stretches where he was really starting to get in his rhythm. And I think that you add Diggs. Now, Diggs could be the only thing, and this agrees with what you guys said earlier about Diggs. If they don't win the division, if CJ Stroud has a down year, it will be because you will see multiple highlights of him and Diggs arguing on the sidelines. You'll see Diggs flailing his arms in the air during the play.
CJ Stroud will not argue. He will just cower.
Exactly. And
He's
that's
soft.
exactly what I was going to say next. So that will get into his head, and
Uh-huh.
then that will mess with him. So that's something that could throw him off. But if Diggs takes it easy, which probably won't happen, but who knows? Maybe Diggs has a good year, and that's never an issue. But they're not going to go undefeated. And whenever they do lose, you'll see Diggs throwing a fit. But I got Texans first. I'll give Jaguars second. But if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, they could maybe get the second spot. But the Titans are for sure fourth. So I'd give the tiebreaker between the Jaguars and the Colts right now to Jacksonville, but we don't really know how good Richardson will be.
I think if Richardson stays healthy all year, the Colts will be better than my expectations, but I don't think he's going to be healthy all year. And I don't think the Colts are a complete team. I like a lot of their pieces.
It depends if their running back comes back to life.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, if they get 17 games out of Anthony Richardson and 17 games out of Jonathan Taylor, they'll be better. But I don't think either one of those guys are playing 17 games.
Okay. Will Levis will lead his team to 7-10
ish. I got you right. Yeah.
6-11, 5-12.
Titans have a good defense. They'll eke out a couple close games. But all those close games that the Texans won last year, a lot of fluke turnovers, a lot of defensive touchdowns. Like, they're not going to do that again this year.
I think
Texans are good. C.J. Stroud's good. I'm not a hater. Their wide receiving core is fantastic.
Well,
you're taking a step back.
Trevor Lawrence has thrown for over 4,500 yards 2 years in a row. Correct? He'll do it again this year. Like,
he'll do it more efficiently this year too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So who'd they get that's really convincing you that they'll do better?
I like Brian Thomas Jr. and I like Gabe Davis.
Same.
Yeah, I think
Gabe Davis is new.
Yeah, I think they can both play. And I don't think there's a huge loss in Ridley. I don't think.
No.
So
they never clicked.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I get his contribution. I get what he did, but it wasn't him, it was the quarterback.
I think something we haven't mentioned yet in Jacksonville, I think Travis Etienne is as good as any running back in football, not named Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's Bijan Robinson-ish. I think they're right there.
Bijan's going to have a huge year too, but I think Travis Etienne is just as good as anybody in the NFL.
And him and Trevor have chemistry.
Big time.
Years worth.
Big time.
I agree with you with Houston as far as I think on both sides of the ball. They could have statistics that are in top 10 offense and defense. I think they're going to lose a lot of tight games.
Hard agree.
Yeah.
Hard agree.
Like if at the end you're like, Fred, they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and all these rankings, I would say, yeah, that tracks. But they're not going to win. And it's because they're not there yet. They're one too soon. Next year's their one.
They still got pieces. They still need to add a couple more pieces and then get consistency. And I think, well, we're harping on this, but I'll mention it again. Diggs is not a good fit in that young team. He's not going to be a number one. He's going to throw hissy fits. It's going to affect the whole locker room. It's going to get into C.J. Stroud's head, like you said, Zay. And I think he's going to put up great numbers. If C.J. Stroud's your fantasy quarterback, congratulations. You're in for a good year.
The Latu kid for Indianapolis, what's his name? Liatu Latu, is that it? He will be your rookie defensive player of the year for the Colts.
Strong. Yeah, I like that a lot.
He's got it. And I don't also not say that he's special. The rest of defensive rookies don't look that great.
Right.
I don't see one where I'm like, oh, that's the guy. This guy's the guy. So I don't know. So there's my big bold one there. And then, if I was to wrap it out, and I don't want to just bury Tennessee because I think Will Levis will also become a good player. That's a thing that I think they will be bottom tier, 25 or worse in passing and rushing.
Agree.
And first downs and touchdowns and third down conversions. They'll probably be last in the league. They won't be able to get the gas going. Will Levis might end up being okay for you in fantasy because they're going to be chasing a lot.
Agree.
But there's not the team.
Yeah, and Tony Pollard will help him a little bit as far as check down routes, but Tony Pollard is not a very good pass protector. And, he could possibly put them over the edge if he has a couple games when he has over 100. Maybe. I doubt it. I don't know if their line's any better than Dallas's, so I can't put any promise that he'll do better. But it is second year after breaking his leg in half, so we'll see.
And
That's their only hope.
You can't understate the loss of Derrick Henry. He kept that offense afloat for almost a decade. Their passing game looked better because they had Derrick Henry. Their rushing game, obviously elite every year because of Derrick Henry. You can't replace Derrick Henry with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears or whatever his name is.
And a soon-to-be released Deuce Vaughn.
So instead of stacking 7 men, 8 men in the box to control Derrick Henry, you could throw it over the top. Now you don't have that worry. Now you could play the receivers like a normal defense would and then let the run game get an extra half a yard or whatever.
When we get back from the break, we're going to head over to the AFC West where we're going to tell you the remaining of the AFC playoff picture. Also hit on the big points for each of those squads. We're continuing live from the Rio Bravo Brewery. It's 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On. We're live at Rio Bravo Brewery. Been a good one thus far. Working through our NFL preview show. We have not hit in our Isham Dental soundbite of the day. We will at some point figure that out. You know, the thing about this show, and it's similar to like when we do our big previews for everything. We do one for baseball. It's a lot of fun.
That might be my favorite.
Yeah. I make us do one for all big four WWE pay-per-views.
I'm present for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are all some of my favorite.
Mm-hmm. I still show up that day.
But it doesn't feel like a 2 Men On show. It feels like a
wild, right?
Well, here's my problem.
Okay.
I don't need the friend of the show knowing how much I actually know about this stuff.
We're really tipping our hats here, aren't we?
Yeah.
They're going to eventually figure us out.
Yeah. Oh, it's all a work?
Oh, wait. They'd rather tell jokes than talk about football?
It's like a high haters moment. High haters. We know more than you.
No, well, here's the thing. I don't. Hey, but I'm certain in what I do know. I'm certain that I've had to professionally for a lot of years watch this league, and I can tell you what happens in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like for you, for example, like you would think that I would consider myself knowing or just like watching more, but because you don't have a favorite team, you have a broader view of the teams. So like you know more players from other teams than most people that have a favorite team know. Like I couldn't tell you who some of the safeties are on the Bills.
Oh no, I can't. I mean, players that don't matter. But here's what I know. I know that Trevor Lawrence is good at throwing the football. So therefore, I will look at guys who are catching the football and I go, well, those guys are better than last year.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. That's the formula. Like it's. I know it's overly simple. Hey, I look at Cleveland. Cleveland has the best defensive backs that I have seen.
They're good.
Maybe in a long time. Maybe in the entire time that I've ever watched the NFL, they currently have the best defensive backs. Will not matter. Their team will not score.
Well,
you don't talk about it. Like that sucks. Sucks for them.
And again, the NFL wants them to lose.
Yeah,
NFL, the organization, and all the players.
Yeah.
Everyone wants the Browns to lose.
They want to, and then they want to move the Browns to Baltimore.
They're not. Yeah, 2 teams in Baltimore again. Yes.
AFC West. This one, oh God! All
this is the easiest one in all of the NFL.
I believe the second best record in the AFC will go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe they'll be victorious here, and I believe your final wild card spot will fall to the Las Vegas Raiders, as they will finish in second place.
Ooh, okay.
I believe that Justin Herbert is booty. I do not believe he will win, and I cannot for a second believe that Denver has figured out how to win games.
They're too far away.
Yep.
And you count the 4 losses that those 2 teams are going to allow the Raiders to have as wins.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the Raiders will take 1 from the Chiefs. They're going to do well outside their division. Therefore, they're going to end up sneaking into the second spot, and they're going to end up being more than likely the last team in the AFC playoff picture. Gardner Minshew is better than your favorite player.
Ooh, hard disagree. I'm rooting for Gardner Minshew. You know I love the silver and black. Football is better when the Raiders are good. When the Raiders are doing well, football is better. And I say that as unapologetically and as serious as humanly possible.
When it's easy to hate them.
Yes.
Yeah, football is better.
So much better. Yum, yum, yum. But now they got a Gardner Minshew, the 3, is a dude. Like, and I'm not talking about just on the football field. He's a dude in real life.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy that you want to have a beer with. You want to hang out with. You want your sister dating this guy.
He wants to live in Las Vegas.
You want him to marry in the family. He's perfect for Vegas. I hope the supporting cast around him can step up. I don't think they will. I have both Vegas and the Chargers flirting around 500 and missing the playoffs barely. Chiefs cruise. Like, they cruise. Like, the regular season for the Kansas City Chiefs, this is their preseason. This is practice.
If they
for
win,
the Kansas City, they're practicing. They're working out new stuff during the regular season with their eye on the playoffs to win a 3rd in a row.
If they win 12 games and go 12-5, 5 or 6 of those wins came against the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders.
Yeah.
Also, I think I have my offensive rookie of the year coming out of this division. I think it's Bo Nix. I think he's going to win it over Caleb Williams. I think he's going to win it over Jaden Daniels. I think that Sean Payton is going to try to prove some sort of weird point that it wasn't Drew Brees all along, and he's going to put him in positions to just rack up numbers. They won't win games. He will win that award, and that's what Denver will try to hang their hat on at the end of the season.
I'm a Bo Nix believer. I think Bo Nix is better than people who are taken ahead of him, including Drake May and including Penix Jr. Like basically everyone except for Caleb Williams and Jalen Daniels, Bo Nix is better than this year.
Zay?
So I think really quick to finish off with that, I think Bo Nix, there's some teams that love the age, some teams didn't like the age. And I think that maybe could be why he didn't go as high, because you wonder why wasn't he here already.
Yeah.
There must be something there versus him just maybe he wanted to finish his degree. I'm sure there's reasons behind it. But I'm going to go Chiefs first, of course. I do think that the Chiefs, after they've won the Super Bowls, they get a little bit of that Golden State Warriors curse where they lose some games they shouldn't lose because they know they're going to make the playoffs, and they know that, once the playoffs come, they can turn it on, but they'll still win the division handily. Give me the Chargers second. I'm going to go Chargers second. I think their O-line's a little bit better. I think Herbert will do well. I know he's missing his boy Keenan Allen, but I think Harbaugh will have a smash nose, good running football team that will benefit Herbert. So I think we may see his amount of attempts go down, which will protect him. So I think he'll have a more efficient year with throw for less yards. I think the team will benefit from that, and it'll allow the defense to capitalize. And
their defense sucks, man.
I love that you just combined Smash Mouth and Hard Nose together. You got Smash Nose. New band name called it.
Their defense is awful. They gave up over 23 points a game last year, which is like 5 scores.
Yeah.
Like, that's not
good
at all.
No. It's going to be a lot more of the same.
But I do think Harbaugh historically has had good defenses. So I think just off coaching, I think they'll be coached better. And I think that'll help. Because personnel-wise, I don't exactly know their roster now, but for a long time, their defense had really underperformed given their roster. I'm pretty sure Khalil Mack's still there. I mean, there's no way you should have Khalil Mack and Bosa on opposite sides and you guys aren't terrorizing.
Well,
they both had double-digit sacks last year.
The Tui Pulotu. Tui Pulotu is a guy. Look for him. He comes off the edge. Derwin James is the safety. That dude also plays. And then Gilman, the other safety, also plays. Those guys are your guys.
Better. They should be better than they've been statistically. I don't know why they've been statistically so bad.
They don't know how to play. They don't know how to play. Like you're going out there knowing that Justin Herbert's going to lose the game for you in the final minutes anyways. Like, what are you going out there to work for?
So I do think Justin Herbert's a dude. I think he's top 5, top 7 guy. So, like, I am a believer in Justin Herbert, but he just doesn't have the pieces all around him. Like, Keenan Allen, gone. Mike Williams, gone. Like, he's got to do it with a brand new cast of characters that he hasn't gelled with yet. He's going to get the volume. He's going to sling the ball around. He's going to put up great numbers for your fantasy team, but they're not a complete team, and they're going to lose a lot of close games because it's forced to Justin Herbert to do everything in the second half.
No Eckler either, so they're really struggling.
Hey, not having Eckler from last year is an upgrade. Eckler last year was nothing. Gardner Minshew is going to be a Pro Bowler this year. Gardner Minshew is going to be an All-Pro this year. Gardner Minshew is going to, and I'm not saying he's going to slice and dice and dissect and be surgical. I'm not saying those things. I'm saying he's going to make big plays.
Yeah.
He's going to walk. He's going to huddle the team. He's going to say, we're going to score here. And everyone in that huddle is going to believe him. They're going to win games. That's why they're going to the playoffs. And he's going to be part of the conversation on why his coach, I believe, is going to be the AFC Coach of the Year.
If the Raiders make it to the playoffs, he is undoubtedly going to be Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
And his team loves him. Like in between Antonio Pierce and Gardner Minshew, like those are two guys you play your ass off for. Like the team loves those two guys. I think Aiden O'Connell, the backup to Minshew, probably has a higher ceiling if he can get the reps, but the team loves Minshew. They want to play for him. They want to rally around him. And there's something to that.
Minshew, he gives me a Tebow mixed with a Mark Sanchez type of vibe.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is I think he'll have he'll do some things, he'll do some miraculous things, have some awesome wins, and it'll show you that this guy is a QB. But then he'll have some plays where it's like, okay, and that's why he's not one of the best. Yeah. Or like he'll have some interceptions, or he may throw a ball that he should have never thrown. And I think that will be, the roller coaster effect is what makes a lot of us like a lot of these players. And we may not remember it game by game, but historically that's how he's been. And I think that roller coaster effect is what makes him such an appealing guy to want to watch, because he can go out there and win games, but there's also some times where he'll throw an awful pass or, things like that. And that's why he seems to barely have a consistent starting role in the league.
And let me remind you that Gardner Minshew was going to quit football at Washington State. He wanted to coach football. He didn't even want to be quarterback anymore. He was so good, the coaching staff made him. He's got a Brady-like brain when it comes to football. Doesn't got the big arm, doesn't got the best legs in the game, but he's got an eye for football and a brain to pick apart a defense. But can he execute with his talent level? I mean, I see a lot of Brady in him, but like Gardner Minshew drinks beer. Gardner Minshew eats bread. Like Gardner Minshew doesn't have a set sleep schedule. He lives in a van.
He doesn't have to, but it's other little stuff too. Like he doesn't have to be told what not is best when securing something.
Sure.
Like he's a guy who just kind of gets life.
Yeah. He knows how to gut a deer.
Oh,
no one even taught him.
No, like in the field, he knows how to dress a deer in the field.
Yes,
there's no doubt in my mind.
And no one ever taught him. He was like born with that information.
He's like one of those guys that makes those ASMR videos. You cook in the woods. Just use like a pot and some sticks.
Yes,
start your own campfire.
But he lives in a van down by the river. That's not a joke. He literally lives in a van.
He's also going to cook on the field. Like he is the truth. That's it. It ends right there. Watch Gardner Minshew not be better than the Chiefs, but send the Raiders to the playoffs. I'm calling it. NFC East, whenever we get back from the break, it's 2 Men On, live from Rio Bravo Brewery, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Tim and On. We're live at Rio Bravo Brewery, giving you our NFL preview. We're through the AFC. Who are your playoff teams, man?
In the AFC, I got Baltimore with the number 1 seed. Then I have Miami winning the East, Jacksonville winning the South, Kansas City winning the West, Cincinnati as the first wild card team in, and then the Jets and Bills from the East in.
I got Miami, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Kansas City, the New Jersey Jets, Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans, Las Vegas Raiders.
Raiders.
Did I name enough of them? Was it 8?
Might have been too many.
I might have had
It's
one.
7.
Oh, throw Houston out.
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah, no Houston for us.
No Houston. Okay. Isaiah, did you have yours? Recap your AFC real quick.
Give me Dolphins, Jets, Ravens, Bengals, Texans, Chiefs.
Okay, there you go.
That's going to hit right on the money, by the way.
Oh, that's what I said last year, but Texans fooled me.
NFC East, boys. We're looking at a division with 4 teams who are all real willing to all win 8 or 9 games. It is not a pull away in any way for any of these teams. I think the safe money is Eagles, Cowboys, Guardians, Giants. I think if you were to get excited about anything here, it's that Dak Prescott is in the final year of his contract, and he will put forth the effort that a guy normally does in the final year of his contract. So if you wanted to flip it to Cowboys, then Eagles, it would be hard for me to argue. But I think everyone is going to be division winner, maybe 10 wins, and then it'll be a bunch of 9s and 8s below that.
Now, there's not a lot of turnover in Philadelphia.
No.
They added some more good pieces on that team. I think they win the division pretty easily. Dallas right behind them, getting a wild card spot. And then the Commanders and Giants exist. They are real. They're teams. They will put on their jerseys, and they will show up to games. But they're not going to win a lot.
Who won the NFC East last year?
The Cowboys did.
And they switch every year, right? Like no team ever repeats it. All right, give me
in like 20 years.
Yep. All right, there we go. So I got Philadelphia, Dallas. You have Philadelphia, Dallas.
Correct.
All right, Isaiah.
I'm gonna go Dallas, Philly.
Okay.
This will be the year. This is non-biased, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Is it now?
All right.
Okay.
Yes,
Go
yes.
on.
The thing with the Eagles, we forget. Oh, how quickly we forget. They should have lost about 6 more games than they lost last year. Okay, every single game they were almost losing, and they just kept getting blessed by just opportunity after opportunity.
Yeah,
and then it finally caught up to them. And once they lost that first game, they kept losing afterwards. And although they did add, what's gotten worse in Philly, because I did have Philly a few months ago, what's gotten worse in Philly is their relationship between the coach and the quarterback. And I don't think that Nick Sirianni will be able to rekindle that relationship because he's a little bit corny, okay? He acts like the player on the team who's not playing, and he's the main guy throwing up the middle finger to other teams, and it's just not the act that a coach should be putting on. And I think that the Eagles have finally gotten tired of it, and I do think he could adjust, but I don't think it's going to, be enough for the Eagles to win the division. I do think it'll be close. So I got Dallas first, Philly second, and then the Commanders / Guardians third, and the Giants will be fourth. And just don't sleep on Dallas.
I don't think anybody's sleeping on Dallas. Like, they win 10 games every single year. I mean, they do it year in and year out.
The one big problem in your analysis, though, brother, is you didn't name the biggest part of Philadelphia, and that's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, it's a huge addition.
It's gigantic. Like, I'm not saying he's going to go for 1,300 yards on the ground, but I'm saying he's going to go for more than 1,000.
Yeah,
and he's a guy who, if he had more talent around him in his time in New York, would be more attuned to Christian McCaffrey
sure,
than where he's currently at. You You put one of the best dudes at the position on what is already one of the best teams. I think it's tough for anyone else to look at them and say, "Oh, they're beatable."
Well, that's true. Now, here's also this goes into the rivalry between the Eagles and Cowboys. Historically, Saquon has not been good versus Dallas. Okay, and this plays into the Cowboys Eagles as well. Dak Prescott, I think, has only lost to the Eagles once, and that was last year. That was the first time Dak's lost to at least maybe Jalen Hurts. That was the first time Dak had lost head-to-head to Jalen Hurts was last year. And Saquon has only ran over 100 yards on Dallas twice, and that was in 2018, and then the first game in 2019. Since then,
Dak Prescott has a record of 9-4 versus the Eagles.
Yes, but Jalen Hurts, he's only lost once.
Got it.
Now, if you look at Saquon's games after the 120, he goes versus Dallas, he's 28, then 9, then 50 yards, and 81 yards, 39, 51, 66. So he hasn't even ran over 80 yards versus Dallas since 2019. So I think that we will be one of the few teams that knows what we're dealing with when we go into Philly or Philly comes to us. But I think they will have their way with most other teams.
And don't forget the way the Eagles ended the year last year. They were 11-1 and then lost 5 out of their last 6 games. They limped. They limped. Oh, was it 7 out of 8? I thought it was 5 out of 6. Anyways, they limped into the playoffs. They were a shell of themselves. But I think another year together with that good young core, like that defense of Georgia Bulldogs North, like they have another year to play together. Then you add Saquon Barkley. That's a recipe for success.
I'm looking at Saquon Barkley's numbers. The guy is real interesting. Whenever his team is struggling, you could probably argue that he's a big part of that struggle. When his team is rolling, like he's a guy who's not afraid to amass, triple-digit numbers in yards, be it a combination of receiving and rushing.
Correct.
So he might be a guy who's, got fat on the hog. But with that said, he's no longer on a team that is lean. Like he is on a team that's going to be able to do it.
He doesn't have to be the guy.
Big question mark there.
It'll be a problem. It'll be a problem. No denying that. He'll have his best year since one of his first couple of years.
I think Micah Parsons will become the 13th player in NFL history to go over 20 sacks this year. I think he's kind of the spotlight of Dallas. And I think because Dallas is going to score, I think, a lot of points, and they're going to have a lot of points scored against them.
Correct.
He's going to have opportunity to get after the quarterback. Also, he's hovered like the mid-teens for some time now.
Yeah.
So this should be the one. So congratulations to him if he becomes in the conversation of one of the most dominant to ever do it.
Well, I think he wears so many hats. He's not just a rusher for that team. They drop him back in coverage. He plays in the middle every once in a while. They should stop
doing that. Just send him.
Send him every time.
Send him every time.
I don't hate it.
That's what they're going to do. And the reason why is because they have better linebackers. And also Mike Zimmer is not really a big fan of the whole, guy freelancing around. He wants you to master what your position is. He's kind of old school with it. So I think he'll have a good year, but I think they will drop down as far as sacks a little bit because Dan Quinn kind of taught them to shoot the gaps. And this year they're going to really try to make sure they don't give up a bunch of rushing yards. So the sacks will go down a little bit, but if Diggs comes back and plays up to par, I think we could see a lot of takeaways again in Dallas.
My big one for the New Jersey Giants is Malik Neighbors. I believe he will surpass Odell Beckham Jr.'s rookie receiving records. I believe he'll be that guy. Give me a real number. On the low, 90 catches. On the high, 110. I think the Giants will never be ahead. They will never run the ball.
Sure.
And I think he's going to amass.
But
won't have touchdowns.
Are the balls being thrown by long neck bottle Daniel Jones? Are they going to be anywhere close to him is the problem. They're going to feed him and feed him and feed him all year. But what kind of footballs is he throwing up against him?
I think when a guy's so young and athletic, you're not afraid to give him the ball close to the line of scrimmage. You're not afraid to get cutesy and do some things. And Freddy's a freak athlete. He can run in a straight line and jump. I know.
Yeah.
He'll do that in 3 years.
Sure.
Right here, anytime you can pop the crowd, they're going to pop the crowd by giving him the ball, and I think he's going to be that guy. So I think that's that for they. And then, the thing about the NFC East is the bottom of it being so bad. The Washington Guardians, they could finish last in the division. They could finish second in the division. Like, I wouldn't be surprised either way. But Jaden Daniels is too young and it's too soon. I don't trust them to put actual belief into them. I definitely don't trust Dan Quinn. My big prediction is it's too early for the Guardians. That's it on they, and I know that's not a real fun one, but I think it's a truthful one.
The Commanders have pieces on both sides of the ball. They're just not a complete team yet. And unless Jaden Daniels comes in and has like a CJ Stroud-esque year, like he had last year, they're done for. I see him winning a bunch of games because they got a competent defense. They got some playmakers on offense, and they're young and hungry. But, yeah, thank God the Giants are in a division to make them look better.
Well, as we explore the rest of the NFC after the break and in the next hour, the NFC East might be the team that only puts one team in the playoffs.
I was thinking that, but Dallas is going to win too many games.
We'll talk about it whenever we get back. It's 2 Men On live from Rio Bravo Brewery on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Channel. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On. We're live at Rio Bravo Brewery. It's been a good one thus far today. If you're into snoozers, we've had one as we've previewed the NFL.
I need a beer. Loosen up a little bit.
Oh, my God.
Talking football this
Fred,
one.
I really appreciate when you name cities and you name players. Fred, that's the best radio you could possibly do.
No.
Fred, you know what?
No.
Yeah. Hey,
No.
Fred, do this.
No.
Name players and then put some numbers behind them.
No.
It could be jersey numbers. It can be statistics. It could be anything. Just, hey, listen, name a city I've heard of too, but never one I've traveled to. Ugh.
You know that segment I really liked where you did 8 minutes straight on Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
You know, Fred, he really gets horizontal out there when he's running. You know, he squares.
hot.
Yeah, he squares his shoulders up and he really runs with his legs. Oh.
Speaking of legs, have you seen the guy's legs? I mean, it's like he's running around on like two wheelbarrows. Like it's crazy the sheer thickness and girth of his thighs.
It's not easy. It's not going to be difficult for him to chew up road when he's got those road graders in front of him of an offensive line.
So what are we doing next? The West?
Well, got like,
You're a little late on. I was waiting for the snort.
Uh-huh.
that's how they do it. Hey guys, did you know since 2004 the NFC East hasn't had a repeat winner in games where my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, in games whenever they go on the road after losing on a bye week or a holiday week or a non-traditional Sunday noon game, and they're undefeated not just against the spread but left-hand quarterbacks. Oh,
Ugh.
shut up. Friend, it's really important that you tell me what I need to say at the water cooler tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. No one does that anymore.
You could just invent something now.
Just lie.
Yeah.
Make something up.
The 49ers are undefeated in seasons where their rookie wide receivers get shot.
Thus far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't lost a game.
It's crazy since just absolutely wild, because if he hadn't got shot, it wouldn't have opened up a roster spot for Hunter Renfrow, who one season caught 109 balls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy's a real contributor to the squad now. Like, just do that.
Do you know how faster Ricky Pearsall is going to run now that he's perforated?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's Swiss cheesed up. Ayers is going to go right through him.
Ugh.
You're going to shave a second off of his 40 time.
It's super tough to walk to the ambulance after you get shot.
Still has his watch. That's straight gangster. Still has his watch. Took the gun from the other guy. Shot the other guy. Gangster.
If you try to.
Yeah. They need to trade him to the Raiders immediately.
No, dog.
He's a Raider. He's not a Niner. What are you talking about?
Cowboys will take him.
That San Francisco, that San Jose, that Sacramento, that Oakland.
Yeah.
That's the concrete jungle out there, brother.
Sure.
Like, somebody's going to try to snatch your chain. Like, you got to be ready. Or it wasn't chain. What was it, a watch?
A watch. Rolly.
And you know it's brand new. You just got drafted.
For sure.
Yeah.
He hadn't had that money. Well, maybe NIL, but not that much.
Some agent.
Yeah.
Some agent who's got a drawer full of them.
They did a little handshake deal. They clasped hands together.
And it slid off
agent
one
just
wrist.
slid it right onto his wrist.
You know, Fred, the jokes you make about college kids being influenced by money they're just not true. Because all college kids play college football for the love of the game only, and there's no financial incentive or drive to it all. It's the most purest of purity in the whole world.
Eek.
Ugh.
Okay.
Idiots.
Okay. They want money.
Yeah.
They want
The
money.
whole reason they're there.
Yeah.
They didn't go to Penn State University. They went to Linebacker U.
Sure.
That's how this thing works.
Right.
You know,
They want enough NIL money to pay off the sorority once they get caught sneaking in there at night.
You know, friend, everything you say is pretty spot on, but not about my specific favorite team or specific favorite player. He's different.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure, pal.
Is he different?
Sure, pal.
It's so crazy how you have a favorite player every 3 years. Every 3 years.
Except for Tom Brady.
No,
You got to keep that guy for
exception to every
almost 3 decades.
I'm super excited to get on broadcast now and just roast dudes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's not the way I did it.
Well, the reason they ran this play here is because he's not capable of doing what they should have done, which is this, which I did all the time.
Yeah, sure. Why don't they just do it like me, Rick?
I think it's Jim. I think he's with Jim Nance.
Is he Jim?
I have no idea. Is he on Fox?
I don't know.
I don't know where
I
he's
saw,
at.
some, I saw some clips of Bill Belichick finally actually being on like a panel. He actually made an Instagram. He says a quote from Bill Belichick.
Yeah, here we
His
go.
24-year-old girlfriend made an Instagram.
I don't know.
for him.
He says I don't really use that Snap Face or Insta Chat, so I really don't know.
Sweet.
Feels like an exact quote from him.
Isn't he on a panel show for online betting or something?
There was something
They
like
can
that.
afford
He
him.
was- Insta Chat.
Anyways,
Snap Face.
guys, remember to like, share, and repost, and log on to Bill Bellabet, and we'll help you be big winners today.
First thing you got to do is you got to like it, and then what I've been told, you after you like it, you share it,
Mhm.
and then after that, tell all of your friends about my internet.
I have
Is that what it's called?
I got the internet in 1993, the same year that I left the New Jersey Jets.
I went to I was in a fraternity with Albert Gore, and he invented the internet, and I was the first person to have access to the internet outside.
You know, I never actually
outside of the military.
I never actually played football. I'm a lot like you, fan. Stupid. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 2 Men On, we're live at Rio Bravo Brewery. Been a good one thus far. We got our AFC set. We're working on the NFC right now. NFL preview special. All right. I like the Packers to take the NFC North. I like the Lions to finish second. The Bears will be the most improved team in the NFL this year. And the Vikings will finish looking way up at everyone in front of them. Also, I was talking to you earlier. When I think league MVP, it could come from one of these two teams, the Packers and the Lions, and that's either going to be Jared Goff or Jordan Love, if it's not Joe Burrow.
I like that a lot. I hope it's Jordan Love. You know I'm a Packer backer. Fred, Zay, friend of the show. But I have Detroit winning the North.
Okay.
I do have Green Bay being like maybe a game behind them.
Okay.
Maybe they...
A little 12-5, 11-6.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, both very successful teams. I believe Green Bay is more suited for playoff success than Detroit, so I have them going deeper in the playoffs. I think regular season, Detroit is a lot to deal with. They're good on both sides of the ball. They're motivated. They love Dan Campbell. Right behind Detroit and Green Bay, I have Caleb Williams being the offensive rookie of the year and leading the Bears to the playoffs. To immediately lose, but I can see on their schedule, except for Detroit and Green Bay, I can see Chicago winning 10 games, being the last one in the NFC playoffs.
Wow.
Making some noise this season. Bears fan, congratulations. It's over.
Wow.
You got Caleb Williams. You got your quarterback of the future. He's legit. He is for real. Your defense is above average. Your wide receiver core is the best in football. You have something to look forward to, and it starts immediately. Bears fan.
They are above 500 for sure in my book, but I believe that is only 9 wins for them this year. Isaiah?
So I saved this thought for this moment. I believe the NFC North is much better than the AFC East and the AFC North. I think the NFC North is the best team, the best division in the league, and the Vikings losing their quarterback is the only reason I don't believe it's a landslide. So the Bears will be third. You know what? I've done this before. I'm going to do the Lions first, okay? I think the Bears and the Packers will have the same record, and I think they will also split games during the season. So I think the Packers will get the tiebreaker because I think they will win. They'll have a better record. How do they do that? They go outside of is it in conference record? I think they go off in conference record.
Division, conference, and then it's...
So, like, say the Bears and Packers have the same record, but they also split a game. Yeah, it's one of the two. But I think the Packers will get that tiebreaker. But I do think the Bears and Packers will split games and they'll have the same record. And I think there will be 3 teams that make the playoffs from this division.
I agree as well. And look at us on the same page, Zay.
And then, yes, I got the Vikings last.
If you see,
easily,
if you're excited about enjoying your game of football while letting your money play the game of football, if you find Jordan Love around 4,500 yards, go more. Jordan Love to me this year is a basement 4,500 yard guy. He is a ceiling 5,100 yard guy.
You can't underestimate how talented they stacked that wide receiver room the last couple of years.
I'm seeing it.
They got 4 number 1 wide receivers. They got 4 young dudes who were undervalued in the draft. They found them. They picked them out. They got 4 dudes that can go as good as almost anybody in the NFL.
Ugh. I mean, they got some talent. I'm not saying they got the 4 best number 1s. That's not even realistic.
Except for the Bears, except for the Dolphins, I think they might have the best wide receiver core in the NFL.
I think Christian Watson is good. I think Josh Jacobs will catch passes.
Yep.
I think Musgrave is not bad
Good.
either.
Mhm.
Jaden Reed, maybe. Romeo Dobbs, yes.
Jaden Reed was the best one last year, and he's the one that you have the most doubt about.
Yeah.
And Dontavian Wicks, the fourth guy, who isn't going to get a ton of reps just by situation alone, he might be faster and more explosive than any one of them. And he's fourth.
I don't know his work, so I'm going to have to trust you on that one.
But Jordan Love was the best quarterback in the NFL in the second half of last season by a wide margin. If he keeps that up, watch out.
I think both Green Bay and Detroit make the playoffs. And whenever we go through the playoffs, don't be surprised if I'm pulling Detroit out on the other side of it. I think this is a team that can do it. Do they win the Super Bowl? Historically speaking, they haven't since 57. It's been a while.
Pre-merger.
So maybe maybe they get there, but I think Jared Goff is the truth. So there's my big takeaway for the Lions. Worst case scenario, NFC Championship game. Realistic, I think they can make it to a Super Bowl.
Detroit versus Green Bay. I believe they'll be playing 3 times this year. The third time in the NFC Championship.
Not the worst. And as we move down, Chicago, as mentioned, my big prediction, they're going to be the most improved team in the NFL. I think their quarterback will be good early because the NFL will make sure that he is good early.
Yeah.
Things will be done to set he up for success.
The treatment Deshaun Watson's going to get this season, Caleb Williams going to get the exact polar opposite.
Moore, Allen, and Odunze, 3,000 yards between them.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
just
so
loaded. Just loaded.
But I will say how you guys predicted that teams are really going to want to come get Deshaun Watson, maybe for different reasons, but I do think they're coming for Caleb. His play has made us forgive his arrogance a little bit, but as far as defenders and other teams, they probably still despise the guy. And if anything, him playing better on top of having his nails painted and on top of the arrogance I'm sure he'll show in the post-game interviews and the interviews leading up to the game, I expect defensive teams to want to come get him. I don't think it'll phase him.
Well, I think any team wants to get the number 1 pick. That I'll agree with. All that other stuff I don't think is on people's radar. I don't think people care at all about specifically professional athlete. I don't think they care about other professional athletes' arrogance. I don't think they care at all about their quote-unquote ego, this, that, the other thing. I think they care about draft slot. I think they care about money. And those two things I think are motivators. I do not think they want him to do poorly because the league will do better if he is doing well.
Well, no, I wanting him to do poorly, but I'm talking about, say you're on a team who's playing them the upcoming week.
Yeah.
You are definitely looking at his arrogance and the way he's handled himself as a motivation to say, I want to come humble this guy. He thinks he's the next big thing. We're going to go get the Caleb Williams guy. We're going to be the guys to humble him. We're going to be the guys to show the world that he's not what everybody thinks he is. But that's just because, going into any matchup, you have to find things to motivate yourself. So I don't think they actually want him to fail. But I think that leading, like on game week, the way he is on top of the hype, like him being the first pick, but combined with all the other things, I think definitely will be a motivator, for at least for the defensive line.
In my opinion, if you are a defensive coordinator, coach, position coach, whatever, and if you start your PowerPoint presentation showing pictures of his manicured nails, you're a loser coach.
Yeah.
You're motivating the wrong way.
Sure.
If
The
you
same players, though.
Correct.
Coaches should never do that. No. Coaches, you stick to the X's and O's. But the players, you got to figure out little things to psych yourself out.
There is no way
$25 million.
any player in the NFL got that far without being cocky, without having just sheer confidence in your ability. And I think that's all that Caleb Williams really is. He's just overly confident in his whole career.
I don't think he's
up
overly.
to this point. He's backed it up.
I think he's perfectly confident.
And he doesn't run out his mouth the whole time. He's not like giving you chalkboard material. He's just like a confident, chill, and a sprinkle of weird dude.
He got a little chirp in him.
People are trying to phase him, and they seemingly can't phase him. And I think because of that, people are going to be like, well, I'll show him what's up. But like you got a guy like Brock Purdy, that's how they want you to be, like super, never want to step in anybody's toe.
Well, that's the deal too, though. Like I'm telling you, these NFL guys, they don't want to pick a fight with somebody who is weird because there's no advantage to it. If you beat up the guy who's weird, you beat up a weirdo. If you lose in a fight to a guy who's weird, you lost to a weirdo.
Sure.
Like I'm telling you, I think it's the opposite of what Isaiah's saying. I think it's going to be tippy taps.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a Caitlin Clark effect where the whole league is going against you. I think it's like
exactly.
Yeah, I don't see it's going to be that drastic. Of course, you want to beat up on the rookie. Of course, you want to put the rookie in his place. I think that
it's only
that happens every year.
Number one draft pick only, though. Like that's the one thing.
The more we hype him, like say he's on a 400 yards a game win streak. Like the better he does, the more the defensive, because it's always the team that the number one person is playing. That's like the kryptonite. So for Caitlin Clark, it was a Kennedy Carter girl from the Chicago team. It's like, how come she's hating? But
again, it's like it's different in this way that in the WNBA, these teams were all going to play their best basketball against Caitlin Clark. They wanted to get up for Caitlin Clark. Other teams are not getting up to play the Bears. Like you look past the Bears on the schedule. Like
maybe now they get up to play Caitlin, but beginning of the year, she wasn't doing anything that made you have to get up to play.
What'd she have last night? 24?
Yeah, now. Yeah. But when she first started, she wasn't scoring 24. And Caleb will have a Caitlin Clark effect only to the people he's playing. Maybe only for that week.
Our final thought. Our final thought of Minnesota, though, because we had to hit the break, is Sam Darnold's not that bad. But it kind of ends there.
Yeah.
Like they won't.
They're not going to embarrass themselves, but they're going to be a bad football team.
We finish out our NFC picks whenever we get back from the break. Boys are live at Rio Bravo Brewery, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. going through the NFC, picking our playoff contenders. We've got to tighten it up a little bit because Van and I started telling jokes. The NFC South is the worst division in football. I think the Falcons will win it.
Same.
I believe the Buccaneers will sit second, and I don't know if the Saints and Panthers win it combined 6 games.
I believe they will. I got it the same way. Atlanta wins division, goes to playoffs. They're going to turn it around super fast.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is the perfect quarterback for that team. He knows how to feed a number 1 wide receiver. Drake London is going to crush it this year. He knows how to use a tight end. Kyle Pitts will finally have a good year in his career. And
because of Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, and Bijan Robinson might be, not counting Christian McCaffrey, the second best running back.
Yeah, pretty good
in the NFL. Bijan Robinson will take so much pressure off of Kirk Cousins, off of Drake London, off of Kyle Pitts. That they're going to look like a competent team.
Another P word is personal, and that's how Kirk Cousins took the drafting of his backup in the first round.
Yes.
And he's going to prove the world wrong.
Yes.
Also, those black jerseys are sexy.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I got Atlanta easily in this one, and they might be the only team that comes out of the NFC South for the playoffs. Isaiah, what do you think?
I agree with that last statement, and most of the statements you made. I'm going to put the Falcons first. Give me Tampa second, New Orleans third, Carolina fourth. Carolina won't win more than 2 games unless they come across a team that has like a devastating injury prior to the game and they don't have like their quarterback or something like that.
Feel the same way. Carolina's going to be really bad again.
The NFC West is the 49ers to lose, in my opinion. I have it looking like this. 49ers at the top of it. It's going to be close, I think, between the Seahawks and the Rams. But I'll put the Rams in the second spot. Seahawks third. Cardinals finish it out.
So San Francisco is the only team that I got going to the playoffs from the West. What I hard disagree on is I think the Arizona Cardinals turn it around. They flirt with 500, and they're going to be in second place. It's going to be a war of attrition for Arizona, Seattle, and Los Angeles. They're all going to be around 500. They're going to eat their own all year. There's going to be a lot of parity in that division, but no one else is going to play well enough to make it to the playoffs. I like Arizona turning it around. I think a full season of Kyler Murray, who I think he's been a superstar in waiting this whole time, has enough weapons, especially with Marvin Harrison Jr., to turn that team around and get 500-ish, 8-9, 9-8, but still missing the playoffs.
Before Isaiah gives his pick, my big prediction is Hunter Renfrow will sign with the 49ers, and he will be an immediate contributor to that offense, as I think he can still play. But we're talking about a coaching staff that will believe in him again, as opposed to his last 2 years of missing in action.
Sure.
Isaiah?
You know, it's funny. Earlier on KKOB Buck, we actually talked sports for about the first hour, and the fans or listeners were not happy about that one. But he actually picked Arizona to go to the Super Bowl, which I almost spit my water out when he said that one.
Okay.
Yeah, and he oh my is correct. And he said it with a straight face. So I got Arizona at second. I'm not going to put them first. 49ers the easy first. I don't think that needs to be discussed. I think they'll have the best record in the league, and they will steamroll majority of the competition, especially because Trent Williams, from what Simon said yesterday, I guess he's been back at the facilities.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that San Fran steamroll. Cardinals second. I do think Murray's a baller. I think he's made with the right ingredients, and I think he's an improviser, and he'll figure out a way to win and do what he needs to. Give me – I don't think the Seahawks have anybody I'd take over Stafford, so I'm going to put the Rams third and then Seattle in the close fourth. I'd say like 1 game difference between those 2 teams.
I see the same thing. Like if the Rams or the Seahawks or the Cardinals get a bit of luck or their schedule becomes favorable, they might have a 2 or 3 game swing and make the playoffs. But right now, I think there's just too much parity in the West, and they'll just like all cancel each other out.
Yeah.
In the NFC, I have Philadelphia, Green Bay, Detroit, Atlanta, San Francisco, the Los Angeles Rams. I want to say it's either Dallas or Chicago or Dallas or the Bucks. So I'm going to put Dallas in because it'd be hard for me to push them out.
Sure.
So I think those are your NFC playoff teams. And then coming out of the NFC and coming out of the AFC for your Super Bowl matchup, I believe will be the Kansas City Chiefs. And here's a fun one, the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh,
I don't think
little
Detroit.
rematch, huh?
Yeah, I don't think Detroit can do it quite yet. I don't think their coach is good enough. And I will say that the 49ers will lose again in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. In the NFC, I got San Fran as a number 1 seed. They get a bye. Your division winners are Atlanta in the South, Detroit in the North, Philadelphia in the East. Your wild card teams are Cowboys, Packers, and Bears. I got San Fran coming out of the NFC over my beloved Packers in the NFC Championship game. And once again, I'm going to lean into it. Lamar Jackson plays the whole season. He'll be the MVP again. Baltimore over KC. And then in the Super Bowl, San Fran over Baltimore.
Isaiah?
I like it. Okay. In the NFC, I get 7 teams, right? So I got
yes, sir.
Philly and Dallas of the NFC East. And then again, like we said, I'm gonna go Bears, Packers, and Lions, and then give me the Falcons and the 49ers. And that again looks so solid. I don't see how that doesn't hit. And out of the NFC, I got San Fran versus the Ravens.
Ooh, okay. Samesies, huh? I like that.
Yep, I got San Fran versus the Ravens. And the reason why I picked Baltimore is the same painful reason I really wanted Derrick Henry in Dallas. I think he's been, I wouldn't say undervalued in Tennessee, but I do think that he is the perfect running back for a quarterback that could maybe get in his own head, could maybe get a little nervous, not only because of his play style, but he's huge. I feel like he offers that support to a quarterback as you would if you were walking into an area that you were suspect about downtown and you had a big bodyguard with you.
Boom.
It's like you look at that guy and he's like, he's on my team. How can I be nervous? We're in good shape. And then you see him move and you see him run the ball and it gives you confidence. I think Lamar and Dak are both 2 guys that if they could mentally get over the hump, I think they would be just fine in the playoffs. And Derrick Henry just so happened to end up in Baltimore.
It's not going to change my Super Bowl prediction. I wouldn't be that uncomfortable pulling the Rams or Dallas out and putting the Buccaneers in. I think the Buccaneers can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't see a wild card team from the South. So whoever wins the South, I believe it's Atlanta. Tampa Bay did it last year by barely scraping above 500.
Right. That's it. It's not so bad. So there you go. The NFL season. MVP is an interesting one. I think Jared Goff will be in the mix. I think the quarterback in Cincinnati will be in the mix. And I think Jordan Love will be in the mix. I think those are your 3. I think kind of some of the old hat winners are going to become passé. And I believe the NFL is going to be excited to put some awards on other individuals. So that is my opinion on that.
Okay. I got San Fran being the best team in the NFL and winning the Super Bowl. And the year before he gets PAID paid, Brock Purdy will be your NFL MVP.
There you go. Isaiah?
I think Trent Williams will be the MVP for the Niners.
Yeah, but not the NFL MVP.
For the NFL MVP, and again, no bias and being honest here, I think Dak will win it. And this is why I think he's going to win it. Because I picked the Cowboys to win the division, and he had an MVP-type caliber season last year. And now I think we're going to lean on him even more. I think him and CD will have a better connection. And I think that he's going to get us the best record in the NFC East, which will then result in us winning, him winning the MVP.
Who's wide receiver 2 in Dallas?
Brandon Cooks. Or it could be they really like the guy we just drafted, Flournoy.
Oh,
we really like him.
Well, if you have
he did real well.
No. If you have 2, you don't have 1, though.
Well, receivers, you can definitely have 2 good ones.
Well, yeah, but they don't have a number 2 guy.
Cooks is a good number 2. He's been kind of unheralded his whole career.
Was he in Houston?
Plus, he's in awful situations
Was he in the
over and over again.
Rams? Was he with
He's
New
been on
England?
everyone.
Yeah.
He's like the Bartolo Colon of the NFL.
You talking about Brandon Cooks?
Yes.
He's like an immaculate grid hero.
Oh God. And if you're unsure who the answer is, just guess Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. No, he should be. I expect him to be wide receiver 3, the slot guy. But he's had some really good quotes and interviews, and I just hope he keeps everybody's mind in the right place, keeps them focused. He's kind of like the unk of the group.
Sure. Every team needs one of those.
Malik Neighbors,
yes,
offensive rookie of the year. Latu, defensive rookie of the year.
I got Caleb, Oroy.
Might be
Agree. Yeah, Caleb.
I think Sean Payton is the type of guy that wants to prove it. When we get back from the break, we wrap up the show with Josh Susan of the Albuquerque Ice Dopes. It's Tubing On, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Sean is not. He is all the way across the country, right outside of Seattle, what they call Tacoma Van.
Ooh, I'm familiar.
And he is broadcasting baseball tonight. Josh, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on the program.
Oh, that's a nice thing. Now, you and Brandon had a lot of fun on the program yesterday. Do you miss him?
Yeah, I was wondering how much of your guys' salary you gave to Brandon for doing your jobs for you yesterday.
The amount of work I put in Brandon's life.
Also, we continue to let him be our friend. Like, are you familiar with Make-A-Wish? Like, we just kept that one going for a long time.
That, yeah.
That literally made me laugh out loud.
I mean, I have it on good authority that the only time his phone rings is when it is us. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but I believe that's accurate.
Well, in that case, I feel like that's an invitation for me that I need to call Brandon's phone more often, just so that the last statement you just made will soon be inaccurate.
Love that.
Do you think Steve Stucker has ever called Brandon Ortega?
Called him something.
No.
Big game tonight. It was a big game.
Who has ever called you guys?
As who?
like the most famous person, whoever just, who just called you, just not even like, maybe it's because they had to call you for work.
Oh,
like just super famous who just called you.
I'm not, this is not a humble brag, but literally off the top of my head from yesterday, I talked to Billy Corgan.
That is a very good humble brag.
I can verify that.
More.
Yeah.
Mine's Fred. Mine is Fred.
Let me go through my phone here.
Yeah, mine's all pro wrestling stuff. Like, I don't know. I think the most famous person I've ever talked to, from my perception of what that word means, is probably Jackie Joyner Kersey.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I think that's the most famous person that I've ever had like extensive conversations. Ken Burns. I've had a lot of talk. Like I've met Ken Burns multiple times.
That's a good one.
I would put him on the list. I don't know, Josh. What's yours? I mean, obviously you were in San Francisco forever. Yours has to be like Willie Mays. I don't know. Like, who's your guy?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about who would be, because I was really lucky as a newspaper reporter at the Oakland Tribune. I was there for 10 years, and so I interviewed a lot of people. I'm trying to think of like who actually called me, because I interviewed Willie Mays and Barry Bonds like almost every single day. I at least tried to interview Barry Bonds almost every single day for 4 years, and literally did interview Dusty Baker every single day, twice a day for 3 years. Now I remember like Dusty calling me once, and it was one of those like it pops up on your phone, and you're just realized like private, and you're like, okay, this is somebody important. I better pick this up. And indeed, it was Dusty Baker. I remember talking to like older reporters at the Oakland Tribune too about like life was just so different before cell phones, and even like answering machines. Like you always picked up the phone. I remember talking to this one reporter. His name is Dave Newhouse, and his wife's like, "Hey, Joe Namath is on the phone," and he's like, "When did the phone ring?" And she's like, 20 minutes ago. And he's like, "You're just now telling me?" She's like, oh yeah, no, I've been talking to Joe for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, get it, girl.
His wife picked up and just started talking to him for 20 minutes. And then was like, "Oh, honey, here's Joe. Do your interview now."
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Bill Romanowski texted me 2 days ago.
That's a good one.
See if we're going to do Raiders talk again. And I think it was his handler, because it was way too eloquently.
Articulate.
Yeah, it was way too eloquently worded. I'm pretty sure it's his PR team.
I got Mary Lou Retton's cell phone number one time because she lost her cell phone and we had to call it to find it.
That's funny. That's very funny.
So maybe Mary Lou Retton.
Around like 2003, 2004, and one of the reporters, Associated Press reporter in the Bay Area, somehow their entire database of phone numbers got put like on the AP wire, right? So like it just went out on the wire, all of her phone numbers. And so most people like just changed their number after like a day or two. But I remember like Billy Bean and some other people like that, they're just like, no, I'm just going to like wait it out. And so like there's a lot of people that's like, there's no way this can be real. And so they just like started calling the people once they got like this huge list of phone numbers. And I remember like Billy Bean was like, after a while, he was like, "Yes, this really is Billy Bean. What trade do you want me to make?" Was how he was picking up his phone at a certain point.
That's really good.
The world has absolutely changed in that regard. It is. I mean, it's like how fortunate because everyone's so many degrees of connected now, and like Josh, if you were to get a call, like say you get like a big call in the field. I don't mean a call on a cell phone. That's a bad transition from where we just worked. But say you get like a big call in the field and it ends up making like a highlight reel or a top 10 list or something at the end of the night. Is there a name that would call you to be like, hey, like cool call on the night? Is there someone that from your past that would reach out where you'd be like, oh, that's weird to hear from them after like a highlight moment? Or because I feel like I wouldn't be surprised by anyone at this point.
Yeah, I mean, from a professional standpoint, you just think about like the biggest icon, in the broadcasting world. So like if Al Michaels ever just like called me or texted me out of the blue, say, "Hey, I thought you did a really good job on that," like I might have a heart attack. Like I seriously might hyperventilate if Al Michaels called me, and then not so humble brag. I mean, I did the Dodgers pregame and postgame for 4 years. And so like I was around Vin Scully almost every single day.
So
and there were certain days there's just like, "Oh, hi, Vin." And then there's other days that I was like, Vin knows my name and says hello to me and like asks me how my day is doing. And Vin just like talks to me because I'm somewhat of a peer of his, or I'm just the guy sitting next to him on this file. You know, it's just like, oh my gosh, how lucky am I right now?
Sush, you mentioned Dusty Baker receiving multiple phone calls. You see his boy Darren, who was saved in the World Series by being trampled by JT Snow, made it to the majors and got a knock in his first game.
Yeah, super excited. Look, that was the 2002 World Series. I covered the Giants at the time. I was their beat writer. That was my third year covering the Giants. So I wrote stories about that play. I remember writing a follow-up story about how Major League Baseball was not happy about it, and how Dusty Baker was admitting, like, yeah, you know, my mom, you know, Darren's grandmother kept saying he's too young to be in the dugout, and she called me up, and she was like, I told you so, I told you so. And then writing follow-up stories about how Major League Baseball said the minimum age that you can be in order to be in the dugout is this. It's the Darren Baker rule. So it was the ultimate, and like, this is a reminder of how old I now am.
Yep.
But it was also just really neat knowing that this was a moment that he does not remember, right? He was like 3 years old or 4 years old. I don't remember anything from age 3 or 4. And that's how 95% of the world remembers him. And now he's making his own mark, doing his own thing. And I'm just super excited for Darren and for Dusty and just the whole family.
17 games left on the year, Josh. It was a big win last night for the Isotopes. You mentioned it yesterday, outside looking in on postseason stuff here. What is the expectation to finish strong this year?
So they're not completely out of it, right? I mean, It's a really long shot, but 5.5 games behind the team that would currently go to the postseason as the second half champion. 5.5 games out with 17 to play, and all 17 games are against teams that are ahead of you in the standing. So I still think if they lose more than 3 times, they're done. So it means you get 1 loss per week. You got to go 5 out of 6 every week. They got to win yesterday. Pitching's been really good. I don't know if you boys realize this, but if you give up 3 runs or less, there's a really good chance you're going to win the baseball game.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that a lot lately. So as long as the pitching holds true, you know the boys are going to score enough runs. You never know, right? I mean, it's fun. You want to finish strong, but there's still something to play for right now.
Sush, today was our NFL season preview. I know you're wrapping up your baseball season strong, but who do you got in the NFL this year?
49ers to win it all.
But hey, me too, Sush.
Not the worst pick.
Good job.
Really?
I got Niners over Ravens. Ravens over Chiefs in AFC, San Fran over Green Bay in the NFC.
Interesting. All right. Okay. I feel like the 49ers are at that stretch where either they've been so good for so long that they're going to just not make the playoffs or lose in the first round, or they're finally going to win the whole thing.
Well, I mean, they better draft another quarterback with the last pick in the draft so they can afford the rest of their players, because they got to pay Brock Purdy next year. Then it's all over.
Josh Sushan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, that's my cue to shut up.
He's a pro. Broadcast immediately follows us tonight. Big thank you to he for that.
Yeah.
We thank you to Rio Bravo Brewery for having us. It was a nice little NFL preview. Isaiah back at the studio.
I like the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. There it is.
We knew.
Yeah.
Yep.
Told you.
Van, final words?
Too much of time allotted, my friend. Anything we didn't cover, well, I mean, it was all NFL. That's all we did today.
Stuff, yeah.
Check out tomorrow morning on the opening drive with Jeff and JJ.
Good job, everyone. Keep breathing.
See you tomorrow.